Hello and welcome. This is Perry Kinney, and if you're interested in all things hair, why this might be just the channel for you. Today we're going to be doing a gray blending. Now what that's going to involve is using color that does not lift and deposit, but rather just deposits, so that essentially what can happen is I can turn gray hair into highlights. In that way, when this is all done and it's washed out, basically there's no grow out at all. It just looks like highlights and then goes away. So there's no ammonia or any alkaline product in it. No ammonia, no MEA. To reach the goal with this kind of an approach, we have to use a product that has very little developer or peroxide and no alkalinity to it. In that way, it doesn't have a full strength to cover entirely. So things like Shades EQ will work well. Different products you might normally tone with will work well. In this case, I'm using a Chromastics product that basically will just deposit for me. Application for this type of an effect is done at the scalp first, then worked out through the ends, and then basically just kind of covered that. You can also hit the sideburns if you wish to in this instance, but the idea is that you are simply working it everywhere and as quickly as possible. When I or my assistants shampoo out any color or shampoo a client at all, we have them cover their face, their eyes, particularly during this pandemic. And the reason why is so that they're not at a disadvantage where any particulates could be floating in the air and landing down. Now we're going to slow things down so that we can discuss the haircut in detail. This gentleman wants to grow his hair out, and so what I'm going to do at this point in time, because he wants it to be very long, is I'm taking a section from the upper crown and the front. I'm combing the whole thing up, and in between the back and the very front there's a small corner. I might refine that corner off, and that is it. I'm basically looking to do a classical layering kind of a technique. So each section will go to the side. In this case, I'm going just to the left of my first section. I direct it over to that guideline, and then I do the same thing. I trim it. Now, as I'm going further and further toward the side of the head, I will wind up taking off more. You'll see me accomplishing this angle as we go a little bit further. The reason why I want to do that is because I want to influence the shape of the cut, not to be too round. As I get to the line of recession or the parietal ridge on either side, I then start over directing the hair up to it as opposed to keeping the guideline traveling and going down. In this way, I keep the length. Once completed on the left side, I then start from the center and move over to the right side. So I'll part straight on down the center, remove or comb everything that I've worked with out of the way so that it's no longer in my guide. Then take from the center and bring it to me. As a general rule of thumb, each section I take will be very, very thin. Now the reason why I want that to be the case, and very see-through, the reason why I want that to be the case is I want it to come straight off the scalp at a 45-degree angle, straight up from where it is I am parting it. The reason why I want to do that is it helps me to keep the sections very well blended, very precise. And if I do that, the cut over a longer period of time will hold its shape better, look better, perform better for the client. At this point, you can really see where my angle is coming from the crown to the line of recession or the parietal ridge. You can see that my slices are pie-shaped. And here you can see just how little I'm taking. I'm just removing the corner from the center basically. It's not much at all, but it does make a big difference. Now as I'm taking my sections from the back and I'm starting to bring them forward just a little bit, including larger sections or larger partings from the back. This works out just perfect. As I work my way around to the back, however, I might refine those edges a little bit more. But I'll go forward like that, then I'll bring it out as you can see and look to make sure that the line is blended there too. Being careful to remember, this is about growing it longer. At this point I resection my parting from the top of the ear and bring it all the way back. So I go from the crown to the top of the ear, bring it back, and work with the length and the back at the same time. I will then come across the top and just gently blend in that center corner. Now I'll take that back section, comb it down, part it, going approximately center of the head, bring it straight out at a 45-degree angle. Sometimes I'll elevate up higher, but just take off the corner there. If I have more corner, then I hold it and I want to remove it, I hold it straight out at a 45. If I have less corner or I don't want to take as much, I will over direct it up more. It depends on you, how thick their hair is and how it's falling as you blend it here. We'll refine the side corner of each portion, each side of the back of the head, by grabbing everything behind the ear, bringing it out to and equal to the back length, and then look for anything that falls out of line or out of the guide. Next, I will stand directly behind my client and keeping below the occipital bone, I will comb everything straight up, bringing it toward me, and anything that is significantly out of line, I will then refine off. I then take my handle picks, bring everything back so I can see how this is falling or going around the shape of his head. Is it blending just right? Is it looking the way I want it to? Do I need to make adjustments? Once satisfied with the shape, I'll use any appropriate mousse or spray gel that I want to use to hold it in. I then take and I'm combing it back so I can go through and refine the edges around the sideburns and such just to clean it up so that it has a finished look, even though we're getting it to grow longer. Once completed with this portion, and then take and let it dry on its own, and then work it through. And as you can see, especially by contrast of where we started from, that this blends out the gray, creates blown highlights, if you will, a very natural look in this instance, and then we'll simply wash out. And as you can see, the client's pleased, therefore it's good.